Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. I'm your host, Jessica Williams. Happy Monday, happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and happy Founders Day to the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha. On today's show, we are highlighting and celebrating the legacy of Dr. King. From highlighting his impact and history in the city of Fort Wayne to an exclusive interview I had with his son, Martin Luther King III, to speaking with the president and past president of the MLK Club of Fort Wayne and more. And later, it's Money Monday, and Foster Financial joins me with some new wealth management advice. But first, on this Motivation Monday, let's remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So let's continue to be light and show love each and every day. We have a great show for you, so let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
Good morning and welcome to a special edition of Living Local 15. I'm your host, Jessica Williams. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech was delivered in front of 250,000 people from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. That was August 28, 1963. But did you know that just 2 months before, Dr. King was right here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, delivering a dynamic civil rights speech, and that was on June 5th, 1963. This city is rich in history and has the presence of Dr. King throughout the civil rights movement. I am standing here at an important monument, MLK's Memorial Bridge. And on today's show, I am going to explore Dr. King's presence in this city and also celebrate his memory.
One of the greatest, if not the greatest, demonstrations for freedom and human dignity ever held in the United States. I'm sure that many things will happen as a result of the march. Certainly the people who attended.
So first and foremost, how does it feel to be here celebrating 60 years since your father was here?
Well, it always feels, I'm always honored to participate in anniversaries, but I am also cognizant of the fact that there's still a great amount of work that has to be done. Mm-hmm. And so on the one hand, I don't like the word bittersweet. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that would be the one way of describing it. The sweet part is, of course, that Dad's work is being honored, Dad and Mom's. But the bitter part is that we still have so far to go.
We do. And
I'm, greatly disappointed about the direction that we've gone in for now. Mm-hmm. The hope, and you always know, when you come to a dedicatory service and it's pillars of hope and justice, that is amazing. Mm-hmm. And the words that Dad spoke are identified. This is here forever. It's the hope that can become. That's the beautiful part of it.
Yes, and that was your father's message and the message that you continue to give. And tonight you said something so important. You said that what we have to do now is extract the good out of each other and to truly live our lives and not just exist. How can we put that to practice?
So I think the best way to put it to practice is, number one, everybody has a light. Mm-hmm. Your light can be positive or negative. It's a choice. It's intentional. We have to intentionally decide we're going to be a reflection of positivity and not a reflection of negativity. And that's the only way. It's almost like, how do you eat an elephant? It's bit by bit. You can't just wave a magic wand and it happens. So it's almost a daily exercise that we have to engage in. It's like when, we walk past each other every day as human beings and don't even speak. And those simple things, saying good morning, hello, how are you? And sometimes we're all feeling down, but somebody's saying, how are you? And it resonates. So it's an energy. And that's what we have to deliberately and intentionally do if we want to transform society.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was
a
pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
And today I am standing here at the Pillars of Hope and Justice Monument located in downtown Fort Wayne, celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and when he visited Fort Wayne and gave such a dynamic speech in 1963, 100 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. And throughout this monument, the words that he spoke is inscribed through the roots of these trees. Hi, Reverend.
It's a pleasure to be here, Jessica.
Thank you so much for joining me today for this special on MLK. And I know that you were involved in bringing back his son and commemorating that special moment here in Fort Wayne just a few years ago in 2019. So can you please share with me about that experience and putting that whole thing together?
Well, I think it was a surreal experience, no two ways about it, to have the son of this icon agree to come and share with us in the midst of our ongoing drive to move from the celebration of his dream to the replication of his dream. It all started with a phone call to Jackie Joyner Kersey to ask if she would come and help us commemorate the event by a march at that point from Northside High School down to Fryman Square. She readily accepted the invitation, and from that day forward, it gave validation to the event and made it much easier for me to send an invitation to individuals because we had a point of reference. And so after that, it was C.T. Vivian and Diane Nash, icons, started the Freedom Riders movement in Nashville. And then, of course, to have Dr. King's son come was just kind of the apex of activities celebrating that.
The Martin Luther King Jr. Club, incorporated in Fort Wayne, has been around for 38 years, celebrating the legacy and remembering Dr. King and all he has done for this city and around the world. And joining me today is the immediate past president, Benny Edwards, and the current president, George Hicks. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Jessica.
So let's start off by giving an overview of this organization and what your mission is.
Okay, our mission in Fort Wayne is to keep the memory of Dr. King alive and well here in Fort Wayne. And we've been doing it, as you said, for 38 years. And we have about 4 major programs that we do throughout the year. And one would be the Santa on Tour, which is one of my favorites. We have a free Christmas party for the children in our community. We did it at the old Fort YMCA, and the last 2 years we've done it at the Urban League as a drive-through. So it's really exciting, and just to see the smiles and the expressions on the children's faces when they see Santa is a great reward to the Martin Luther King Club.
Yeah.
Our major event is the Unity Day celebration. It's done on the King holiday. Lately we've been having it at the Parkview Mirror Center.
Okay.
And that's what we'll be having it this year at the Parkview Mirror Center on the actual holiday, January 15th, from 10 until 2 p.m.
Yeah, so that is taking place today from 10 to 2 p.m. at the Mirror Center. And so there's still an opportunity for people to attend, correct? So it's taking place soon, but they can still get tickets at the door.
Yes, we still have tickets available. So if you want to come and get your tickets at the door, then you're more than welcome
Yes.
until we run out. But I suggest you come early
Yeah.
because we may run out. We only have a limited number of tickets, but we still have some available.
Which is awesome. And so give me kind of an overview, George, of this event and what people can really expect today.
Wow. So we're excited this year. We are taking a look at our ancestry, moving toward our ancestry from the past. We have an opportunity to come in African attire if you like. So we encourage you to wear your African attire. As you join our event, we will talk about our ancestry and how we move from there to now. And so we're excited. We're also going to be honoring local individuals in our community that have dedicated their life to servanthood in our community. So we're so excited to present Glenn Hines, Councilman Glenn Hines, former Councilman Glenn Hines, an award for his service as well. We have Leroy Jackson Jr., who also will be awarded for this day as well. And then we also have a dynamic couple. We have Dr. Timothy Williams and his wife, Miss Renetta Williams, and they have just been awesome in our community. And so we want to acknowledge all that they've done within our community.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah.
And so as you enter into this leadership position, George, and carrying on this legacy of this organization, what is the main initiative moving forward for this year for this club?
Yeah, so we want to continue Dr. King's legacy and how we unite. So there's definitely an opportunity within the Fort Wayne community to continue that theme of uniting. So I'm going to be reaching out based on my connections and my past association affiliations. We're going to be reaching youth. We're going to have a focus on youth as we do with the Santa on Tour. But we're looking to enhance that, get more youth engagement. This is something that Benny has talked about in terms of youth and getting them involved. So we're looking to have a youth council to be a part of our MLK club to definitely get them involved because they're not just our future, they're our today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, Benny, how can people get involved in the club? Like, is this membership based? They can join. Tell me a little bit about that process.
Okay, we have a website as well as our newsletter. You can contact me, the president, or any MLK member if you would like to become a member. Right now we have about 170 to 200 members.
Wow.
Some are active, some are inactive, and we have a operation section and the board, and so it's kind of a chain that goes down through that. And one of the things that I don't want to forget is our civil rights tour. So we've been in the past few years. We canceled last year because of the coming out of COVID and that sort of thing, but in 2018 we went to Washington, D.C. with 2 buses and 102 people and visited the African American Museum, the U.S. Capitol, which we were given a tour of the U.S. Capitol. And that was a great adventure for our members and the people that went on the trip with us.
Okay, that sounds great. And just to wrap it up, you all have events happening throughout the year as well, but you have another event taking place in April, correct?
Yes.
Will you tell me about that?
Absolutely. So our event in April coincides with Dr. King's death. And so it's called our Legacy Breakfast. This is also an opportunity for us to honor those in our community who have been supportive and living out the dream of Dr. King. We also, I'll go back a second and say for the Legacy Day, we're also having 3 scholarships that were given away in honor of the founder of the MLK Club, Glenn Gleason.
That is incredible. I love it. And congratulations on just serving for 36 years. Like, that's a really long time.
Yes, we've done walk the walk, and it's about community and community service and keeping the life and legacy of Dr. King alive here in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, well, I'm so happy to have you both on today as we celebrate Dr. King.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And if you would like more information about Martin Luther King Jr. Club here in Fort Wayne, we'll have their website listed below, and we'll be right back.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome to Money Monday, and we have Foster Financial here giving us incredible advice that specifically help women. And joining me is their Vice President, Caleb Doan. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Going good, thank you. Okay, so top of the year, people make a lot of changes, and that may include changing their job or their occupation. And so today we're going to talk about advice for women who are switching their jobs. So what will you share today?
Yeah. So we'll talk about some of the kind of key things to consider when somebody is switching jobs, specifically relating to their finances. And what really spurred this on, I mean, one, we're at the top of the year, like you said, a lot of people are making changes.
Yeah.
And then I also saw a recent article that talked about how specifically within the past couple of years, women have outpaced men in switching roles, in switching jobs, switching careers, switching occupations. And so there's a lot of kind of shifting in the economy right now. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have recently switched jobs too. And so there's just a lot of things to consider. And one of the biggest questions that we get is, what do I do with my 401k at my previous company? You know, you switch to a new job, you're typically enrolled in a new 401k. And so over time, if people have switched jobs over the past 20 years, you know, maybe 5 or 6 times, sometimes they have these kind of delinquent or abandoned 401ks that are just kind of leaving a trail behind them.
Right.
And so one of the things that people have the ability to do when they switch jobs is to roll the money in that 401k to an IRA or a Roth IRA with a financial advisor.
Okay.
And so that's one of the things that we kind of assess and see if it makes sense for somebody.
Yeah.
Typically, you know, some of the pros are that you get more investment options, which is really nice. Financial advisors kind of have access to really the whole world of investment options. Usually within the 401k, you have maybe 15 or 20 options. It's really nice to be able to work with a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Some of the downsides could be, you know, in a 401k, you might have the ability to take a 401k loan, for example. Within an IRA, you don't have that same ability. And so these are some of the things that we kind of weigh for clients and see if it makes sense for them to roll it or keep it where it's at.
Yeah, and that is good because some people think that you can roll it from one company to another, and you cannot.
So it depends on the company, actually. So some of the 401ks, they'll say, hey, you know, if you have other ones, we'll gladly accept those funds.
Okay.
It kind of depends on the company. And so that's an option that we look at as well. But
What will be a benefit of doing that?
honestly, one of the biggest benefits is just consolidation, right? As opposed to having 4 or 5 accounts out there, you can have them all sort of under one roof, have a cohesive investment strategy there. But that's also where a financial advisor can kind of come in to help with some of that.
Yeah.
But when people are even considering to switch roles, taking a look at some of the benefits within the retirement plan is a helpful thing as well. So, I mean, understanding what the employer match schedule is. You know, you might have been getting a really good match at your current company, and maybe a new company that you're thinking about moving to doesn't give quite as good of a match.
Right.
And so it's important to consider all of those factors, not just the salary when you're thinking about switching jobs.
Switching jobs, yeah. And I think that if a company would love to match the full amount of a rollover 401k, come on.
Exactly.
I don't think that happens, but that would be a great incentive. But I wanted to circle back on one thing that you said. So with women being the primary person to switch jobs or doing it more frequently, that's fascinating. Do you know why that is?
I honestly don't know why that's happened. They've just recently kind of started to edge out men in terms of switching roles more frequently. But I know a lot of women have been entering the workforce, sometimes over COVID too. Sometimes moms took kind of the brunt of taking care of some of the kids at home, and so maybe they stepped back from a role and are recently now kind of joining back in and taking a new job. So that could be one of the reasons. But either way, I mean, there's so many things to consider when you're taking a new job. The retirement plan is just one of them. Health insurance benefits is another big thing to take a look at. I know we've talked about HSAs on here before, and so if you're in a certain type of health insurance program, it's usually a high deductible health plan, you have access to contribute to an HSA. And so all those little factors are things that sometimes people don't even know before they start a job. And you know, you learn it during kind of your orientation.
Right,
but
that is true.
It's a great thing to be able to ask about ahead of time and just say, hey, you know, what are the retirement plan benefits? What's kind of the health insurance look like? Do I have a Roth option in my 401k? What's the vesting schedule look like? So
Right.
there's a lot of pieces that can be helpful to kind of go into that decision.
Yeah, that is good. And do you see any other trends happening right now just in the workforce and maybe the types of jobs that people are transitioning into? Because you made a good point that it may be because of an interest that people are changing, or maybe to get a promotion or something like that, they are changing jobs, but really it is to change their finances, right? To increase their income, to have more disposable income, to kind of prepare for what this year has in store.
Yeah, exactly. I think, some of the trends that we've seen is that companies are probably bolstering some of the extra benefits outside of just the salary that they're offering. And so maybe it's offering more paid vacation time, it's offering a better retirement plan, a better employer match, a shorter vesting schedule, better healthcare benefits. There are all these things that they're kind of trying to incentivize people, or even working from home. That's a huge one where if somebody sees that they have the ability to kind of work remote, that really entices people to kind of have that flexibility. So there's a lot of changes in the marketplace right now. People are switching jobs at higher rates than almost ever before. And so it's important to be able to take a look at some of these things.
Yeah, okay. Well, you laid it all out. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
And as you all know, Foster Financial is here to help women plan for their retirement. You can give them a call for your complimentary consultation, and we'll have that phone number listed below, and we'll be right back. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the show. And remember, you can always catch up on episodes and segments of Living Local 15 by going to WANE.com, by downloading the WANE app, and of course, checking us out on YouTube. And I'll leave you with this. In the great words of Dr. King, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Stay warm, and I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.